Why should guns be banned from Puerto Rico? Guns. If you ask many people around, they will tell you that they would like to have one. When you ask them the reason, they will say to protect themselves. Well, that's just perfect. But I confront them with these simple questions. Okay, you have the gun. However, you don't know when you're going to get attacked. So maybe you don't have the gun with you. Or if you have the gun with you, you don't have it in your hands. So then the attacker won't let you get it out. So why should we buy guns? Guns should be banned. If we ban guns from Puerto Rico, the crime rate will go down. And maybe you will tell me this is not true, because people who have illegal guns don't use them to kill, they use them to protect themselves. Well, let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, turn on the news, or read the newspapers, what do you see? I'll tell you what you see. You see crime. People killing others like it was a sport. You never see or hear somebody kill someone because it was in self-defense. So why have guns? So that it can be stolen and used to kill other people? Or why not put a more common example? Humans are unpredictable. So maybe this guy was able to get a gun because he has no criminal record, but no one knows if he gets so mad that he loses control and uses his gun to kill somebody. So that's why I'm presenting this important issue. Because if we ban guns in Puerto Rico, the rate of crime that we live in can be controlled. And since if guns are banned, every single gun is illegal, making the police jobs way more easy. I'm going to show you how will this work by comparing Puerto Rico to other countries. First, to the United States. I know you would think that the United States also approve guns, but I'm going to use the United States to give you a more clear view of our current situation. Then I'll compare it to 3 more countries: Iceland, Oman, and Luxembourg. These countries also have legal guns, but their gun laws are so strict that their gun murder rate is very low, that it's almost as if guns were banned. The statistics that I'm going to show you are from the BCA and IDC Global Software Privacy Study. So let's begin with US. In the Constitution of the United States, the Second Amendment clearly says that every resident has the right to have a gun. So the gun laws aren't so strict. The only way you can't have a gun if you are convicted, if you're a mentally ill person, or if you're a person with a restricted order. To say the least, Puerto Rico's gun laws are even stricter than the ones in the US. However, when we go to statistics, Puerto Rico is higher than the US, since in murders made with guns, Puerto Rico has a rate of 18.9 and US has a rate of 5.6. That means that Puerto Rico has a rate 3 times more than US, ranking Puerto Rico 25 in the world and ranking US 88 in the world. Now, if you think of it, Puerto Rico is ranked 63 places higher than US. In what mind is reasonable that such a little island has 3 times more murders than the enormous United States? We're equal to Russia, the biggest country in the planet. So what did this show us? It clearly shows that guns should be banned, since we have laws that are stricter and we still are in the top 25 countries with the most gun murders. So putting gun laws that are tougher is not going to solve or control the crime wave we have in Puerto Rico. So the best way it is if we ban guns. If you think that banning guns won't work, let me give you as example 3 countries that possess one of the strongest gun laws in the planet. First, I'll present Iceland. When we come to compare these 2 countries, the difference in the gun murders rate is impressive. Puerto Rico has an 18.9 rate and Iceland has a 1.0 rate, giving Puerto Rico a rate 18 times more than Iceland, ranking Puerto Rico 25 in the world and Iceland 161 in the world. So why the difference between these 2 countries is so large? Well, it's simple. Iceland gun laws are way more stricter than the ones in Puerto Rico. In Iceland, the law requires that a record of the acquisition, possession, and transfer of each privately held firearm be retained in an official register. That licensed firearm dealers are required to keep a record of each firearm or ammunition purchased, sale, or transfers on behalf of a regulating authority. Also, state agencies are required to maintain records of the storage and movement of all firearms and ammunition under their control. Also, state authorities carry out recognized arms tracing and tracking procedures, since there's a unique mark on each firearm that is required by law. And to be able to obtain a license, you will have to pass some tests and your whole background check, making it practically impossible to obtain a gun in Iceland. To show you how difficult it is to obtain a gun in Iceland, in a comparison of the privately owned guns in 178 countries, Iceland is ranked number 141. Second, let's compare Puerto Rico to Oman. Puerto Rico's rate is 18.9 and Oman is 0.9. Puerto Rico's rate is 20 times more than in Oman, ranking Puerto Rico number 25 in the world and Oman 170 in the world. The reason to the difference in rate is the same, the strict gun laws that Oman possesses. In Oman, the minimum age to obtain a gun is 25. Also, you must prove genuine reason to possess a gun. An applicant must also pass background checks, which considers criminal, mental, and domestic violence records. However, if you haven't done domestic violence and you come from a family that there was domestic violence, you won't receive a license. Also, they must have understanding of firearm safety and law, tested in a theoretical and or a practical training course that is required for a firearm license. Third, we have Luxembourg, which has one of the toughest gun laws in the planet. Just getting anything other than a .22 caliber gun is practically impossible. And getting a .22 caliber gun is incredibly difficult. That's why Luxembourg has a gun rate murder of just 0.04, ranking it in the position 184 in the world. So Puerto Rico rate is 46 times more than Luxembourg. Luxembourg gun laws are pretty similar to the ones in Netherlands. The only difference is that in Luxembourg the minimum age is 18 years, and if Oman has strict gun laws, Luxembourg are even more strict. Just imagine, it's incredibly difficult to just get a .22 caliber gun, the most common gun that people obtain with their license, since the gun and the ammunition are very cheap. Such laws are so strict that it's practically as if guns were banned. So what am I trying to get with these comparisons? It's very simple. I compare Puerto Rico to countries that to obtain a gun is almost impossible. That only a few people in the country possesses guns, and you have seen the enormous difference there is in the gun murder rate between three countries that practically don't possess guns and a Puerto Rico that is full of them. So now that you have seen this, ask yourself, do we really need guns? Since the more guns are acquired, the more the killing goes up. If these countries have such a little gun murder rate with such strict laws, imagine a Puerto Rico with no guns. The rate gone drastically down, waking up every morning without seeing the same story of somebody getting killed, feeling safe walking in the streets. You could be thinking, but how we eliminate guns since there are so many? It's not a process that will be done in one day. It's gonna take some time, but it can be done. First, ban every single gun there is so that only police and the army can use them. Second, start doing what other countries have been doing, like Chicago. The police has been going door to door, searching for illegal guns. And third, once every single gun is illegal, well, no matter what person has it, the police can just take it away. Until we have eliminated every single gun there is out in the street. Still, if you aren't convinced that guns should be banned, let me give you some more facts. It's clear that there is a strong correlation between gun manufacturers and gun deaths. This has been proven in many scientific studies. So I asked myself, why on earth are still guns being manufactured? Well, I can easily answer that by saying, oh, for war. However, the scientists that made the study to prove the relation between gun manufacturers and gun deaths also proved in their study that over 85% of shootings occurs at home, not in some faraway war zone. So even that we know this information, why are there still people that disagree on banning guns? Well, basically they have three reasons. They like to shoot at non-human things that this is pointless, so it isn't really an argument. Another well-used reason is to defend themselves. However, the study that I just showed you proves that people with guns do more harm than good. And let's face it, the criminal is always going to get the first shot. And finally, they feel they have the right to carry guns and kill people, which this reason makes you think. So think about it. Do you really want a Puerto Rico with guns and aim for a future full of murder? Or do you want a Puerto Rico without any guns, given a chance that Puerto Rico can become what it's called for, Puerto Rico, la isla del encanto? Thank you.